You are so disrespectful.
He is going to fall off a cliff.
Shut the hell up.
That's not even close to my best.
They're wrong. And I don't give a damn that they agree with me or not.
Always provocative, always entertaining, and sometimes controversial. It's time for today's Final Take. Stephen A., the floor is yours.
It's about 2 months into the 2016-2017 NBA season. And here's what we've learned about Kevin Durant now that he's in a different uniform. Absolutely nothing. Other than the fact that he is exactly what we thought he was. Kevin Durant is a superstar. He's one of the top 2 basketball players on the planet, which makes him clearly the best player on the Golden State Warriors, you know. He averages 26 points per game virtually in his sleep. He is as efficient as they come in the game of basketball. Despite the occasional temper tantrums, he's also class personified and as decent of a human being as you will find in the ultra-rich world of professional sports. But he's also not a champion, y'all. Basically, someone who will never become one either, unless 1 or 2 things happen. Durant either rides the coattails of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to an NBA championship, or he grows the kind of stuff in the fourth quarter that you can't mention over FCC airwaves. Let's be clear here. When it counts most, Kevin Durant simply doesn't show up, people. Yeah, he's a career 27-point-per-game scorer, but have y'all really looked at the numbers? Back in the finals in 2012, he averaged 30.6 points per game, 9.8 in the fourth quarter. Not bad, right? But he dropped 17 points and 16 points in the fourth quarter of games 1 and 2, respectively. The last 3 fourth quarters of that series, he dropped 4 points, 6 points, and 6 points. For Durant's career, he's averaging 48.6% from the field. The number dips to 41.4% in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. 39.8% on clutch shots, which are the last 5 minutes of a game or overtime with the score within 6 points. Oh, stay tuned, it gets better. There's a further dip to 36.6% in the last 2 minutes of games when the score is within 4 points, and a dip to 33.3% when the game's on the line in the final 24 seconds when the game is within 3 points. Considering those facts, not emotion, people, facts, doesn't it beg the question, what would we be saying if LeBron James had these numbers today and he still didn't have a championship on his resume? It's a rhetorical question, folks. We all know the answer, and that means we also know the conclusion. Kevin Durant chose to go to Golden State and ride his way to his first championship. So if he fails, we'll probably know why, won't we? You like that, Max?
Numbers
sure
don't
did.
lie.
They don't. And Will said, Stephen A., if you want to see more of Stephen A.'s Final Take, go to our Twitter and Facebook pages. And remember, we're moving to ESPN January 3rd. And catch us at halftime of Monday Night Football. We'll be live in the building. Much like last year's finals, Kyrie saves the day for the Cavs against the mighty Warriors, and Cleveland gets the 109-108 win on Christmas. This got us thinking. Is Kyrie or Dwayne Wade LeBron's best teammate ever? We asked you folks on Twitter, and here are the results. 51% say Wade, 49% said Kyrie. What do you think, Max?
Well, I understand why they picked Wade, because Wade at his best was a better player so far than Kyrie is. I mean, Wade, who was the best player in the finals since a prime Michael Jordan, and that includes Shaq and Kobe. Like, Wade had a finals performance against Dallas that year that was unlike anything since a prime Michael Jordan. But that was pre-LeBron. That was before LeBron. While LeBron was there, Wade was something less than he'd been. And Kyrie is something less than he'll probably eventually be. But I think they're in similar places. Kyrie on the way up, Wade on the way down when LeBron played with them. And in that case, I'll take the ascending player over the descending player. And one more thing, Stephen A. Wade and LeBron had an alpha issue when LeBron got to the team. Wade was the alpha of the team, and LeBron had to defer. And furthermore, I don't know if LeBron's personality was ready yet and his experience was ready yet to be the alpha on a championship team. So the chemistry wasn't just right. But LeBron is in his glory right now in that respect. From the psychological point of view, he owns the league, and he's ready to be alpha with a young Kyrie. And he's also ready to set Kyrie up offensively for those last 2 minutes that you always talk about. So I think all things considered, Kyrie is, in fact, the best teammate LeBron's ever had.
He's not the best teammate LeBron ever had. Dwayne Wade is. But it has nothing to do with talent. It has everything to do with where LeBron James was and what he required in order to get him to where he is. If we're looking at youth combined with skill, of course you go the direction of Kyrie because Kyrie is so young. But look at what he's already capable of doing on the basketball court. But let's understand that if it wasn't for the leadership that the greatness of LeBron James provided, there would have been no Kyrie Irving in the NBA Finals because he wouldn't have gotten there. Whereas in the case of Dwayne Wade, it was actually in reverse. What happened is LeBron got there because LeBron didn't know how to win. LeBron got to Miami, and it was Dwayne Wade's leadership combined with Pat Riley's leadership that ultimately elevated LeBron James in terms of peeling the greatness out of him. LeBron James had the talent. LeBron James put forth the requisite skill set that we all sat up and beholded with awe a lot of different times. But ultimately, he didn't know how to get it done, evidenced by those fourth quarters in the finals.
But you're changing the question.
I'm not changing the question.
Yeah, look, like as a teammate, that's great that he imparted that to LeBron or helped. But by the following season, when LeBron had taken over the universe, Dwayne Wade was a diminished player significantly.
He missed 33 games that year. But
part of it.
Well, I'm giving you the insider's perspective. I'm telling you that LeBron's first year, when they lost to the Mavericks, that year, it wasn't just having lost to the Mavericks. It's what he went through during the offseason, what he went through during the season. When he was ultimately down 3-2 the following year when they finally won the chip, he was down 3-2 to Boston, and he dropped 45 and 15 in that game 6 where everybody and their mother counted him out. That dude that looked like a man possessed that night, that was a product of everything that he had reaped from being in Miami with D. Wade and with Pat Riley. So I'm saying that had that not been for that experience, we don't know if we would have ever seen the LeBron James that we're seeing right now. And as a result, we don't know if we ever would have gotten the opportunity to see Kyrie on display.
That may make Dwayne Wade a more important teammate in terms of LeBron James' career trajectory.
Well, if it's
but
more
in terms of the best guy he's played with, LeBron, when he didn't have Kyrie, couldn't get past Golden State. And then the following year, when he had Kyrie, beat the greatest regular season team ever, down 3-1, came back on him, and Kyrie was a huge part of that. And now we see already that 73-win team looks like it maybe on paper got even better, and we're all like, damn, they still might not get past the Cavs.
Again, we're debating things, but it's in two different realms, which is why I can't say I disagree with you. I'm just in a different place. And what I mean by that is that I remember when there was acrimony supposedly between the LeBron and Kyrie. There was whether or not who was going to be the alpha dog. Just like Kobe wasn't interested in being Shaq.
LeBron and Wade, you mean?
No. I'm going
LeBron and Kyrie.
I'm going to Kyrie and LeBron because I'm saying just like Kobe didn't want to be Shaq's little brother, Kyrie, when he signed his contract extension, he thought he was going to be the man. And then all of a sudden, LeBron James says, I'm coming back to Cleveland. And they were trying to figure things out. Now, he got hurt in that first finals, but even in year 2, even when they were coming together and what have you, there were still so many questions. But because of the things that LeBron James had learned in becoming a champion, that elevated him to the leader that we ultimately saw. And that was what ultimately benefited Kyrie. So I'm simply saying to you is that if you're talking talent, I'm going to take a younger, talented version of Kyrie Irving over the older, talented
this is what's so great about LeBron.
Of Dwayne Wade.
I want to mention that I agree. This is what's so great about LeBron James. You imagine coming to a team, you're LeBron James, you're better than everyone on planet Earth by a factor of something. Kyrie, in his prime, on his best day, will never be half as good as LeBron is right now, and Kyrie will be in the Hall of Fame one day. He's a great player. He'll never, ever. He has no shot at reaching current LeBron levels, ever. It's just no knock against Kyrie. That's the level LeBron's on. And yet you come to this team, and this young kid who's never even been on a winning team has the nerve to think it should be his team. With another kind of personality, that can backfire. With LeBron, LeBron winds up basically being the distributor oftentimes, being the ball. And Kyrie benefits from that at the end of games. He's the hero. But because of LeBron's personality, so focused on winning championships, he elevates everyone around him, including Kyrie.
But in the same breath that you give LeBron that praise, you ignore that Dwayne Wade deserves similar praise, because when LeBron arrived and they had lost to Dallas, one of the first things that Dwayne Wade said is that, look, he's the best player in the world. He has to accept that he's the best, and he has to lead.
Credit Dwayne Wade for that. Let me ask you this. Why didn't he do that when LeBron first got there, when it was clear he was better than Wade?
Because he was trying to, and LeBron didn't want it.
Okay.
So the point is, LeBron didn't want it.
That.
And they had to get to a point where LeBron was willing to say, yo, okay, this is my show. I am the man, and this is the way it's going to be. This is something that was going on for a long time. That's why even though you got Randy Mims, Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, and they will forever be LeBron's crew, even though he's tight with the CP3s, Godfather of his children, even though he's tight with the Melo, there's a special bond that he appears to have with D. Wade. Why? Because he recognizes that if it wasn't for D. Wade being selfless and willing to step back and push him to be all he could be without any animosity, any jealousy, or anything like that, he may have never gotten to this point. So if we appreciate what LeBron has meant to Kyrie, we can't ignore what D. Wade meant to LeBron.
And now consider LeBron's first decision that everyone derided, right? He intuitively understood, or maybe understood through experience with Dwayne Wade, that guy is the right guy to partner with if I want to get to where I want to be in my career. And I'll take your word for it that LeBron didn't want it at first, even as Wade was pushing it. Because from the outside...
Either didn't want it or didn't know how to take it.
Okay, because from the outside, the question was... That was the question. Does LeBron just not want it, or is Wade not willing to give it up?
You know, it was never a question of Wade not willing to give it up, because Wade wanted LeBron desperately because he knew what he couldn't be. He's like, I'm playing with the best player in the world. And he's telling them, take it. It's yours. We concede. There is nothing to debate here. You are that dude. Take it.
And it worked out because he got rings with both of them. Yeah. We will leave it there. Coming up next, what did you learn from this finals rematch?
The Warriors are in worse trouble than I anticipated. You know, to begin the season, I thought, look, back it up a couple years. The Cavs take the Warriors 6 tough games without Kyrie or Kevin Love. So now I'm thinking, all right, they got Kyrie and Kevin Love. They got this against the Warriors. But over the course of the season, I saw what the Warriors were doing, and I thought, the Cavs have nothing for them. And then what we found was the Cavs had plenty for them. LeBron and Kyrie was too much for those guys because their best player, Steph Curry, and Steph, I love Steph Curry, but I got to say what I think. LeBron took his heart. That's how I saw it. LeBron blocked shots during the finals.
Okay, go ahead.
What was it, game 5 or 6? Well, when he blocked the shot and screamed on him.
And screamed on him and looked at him like, oh, my Lord. That was LeBron's defining moment right there. Go ahead.
Who was it?
Go ahead. It was LeBron James
who said, scream on you like your dad. Screamed on him like his dad.
What you think?
And Steph didn't say anything bad. He didn't say anything bad. And he just, he psychologically dominated him. And then they wound up winning. And LeBron and Kyrie did it down the stretch. But then I thought they went 7 tough games. And they were kind of lucky to win in Game 7 on the road. Give Cavs all the credit. And now the other team adds Kevin Durant. Yeah, I know Bogut's defensively important and this and that, but you add Kevin Durant to that and you barely lost in 7? Oh, that's too much. It's too much firepower. But what we just saw was that to integrate a piece as large as Durant, even if it's just one piece, forget about what else they're missing defensively. To integrate that piece is a big thing. And the Cavs have continuity, Stephen A. They got the same team, basically, same coach. They're just coming off the win, which means they know they can do it. And furthermore, and this was the big takeaway from me, Steph Curry has played less than his best when it's counted the most in the finals for the Warriors. We just saw Kevin Durant also shrink in that moment. So Durant and Steph in crunch time, if it comes down to it, do you trust them as much as you trust Kyrie and LeBron? The answer is no. Unequivocally no. Now, I know it's not all about hero ball, and I'm here usually yelling at you. It's not all about hero ball. That's not what decides it. But in this case, when it's that close, I think it is. And so that game went a ways towards making me think about this season and this postseason differently.
Couple of things, few things that we got to throw out here. Number one, it's Christmas Day. Steph Curry hasn't had his best days on Christmas days. Let's throw that.
Or in the finals.
Let's throw that out there. Or in the finals to some degree, even though I contend to you that he was not near 100%. Right. And I think that considering the fact that he's the reigning 2-time league MVP, we have to give him more respect than that, because as a jump shooter who was never on Steph Curry's level, when you are a jump shooter, more so than your game being predicated on athleticism, when you are a jump shooter, it's usually a product of your health or your shot being off as it pertains to somebody stopping you. Because when you shoot jump shots, you literally believe in your heart of hearts that if somebody doesn't block your shot, there's nothing they can do to you. So I don't look at anybody taking Steph Curry's heart. Either your shot is falling or you're not. You're healthy or you're not. Kevin Durant is an entirely different matter, and I'll get to him in just a minute. But it's an obligation of me to say this. LeBron James is the real deal. The superstar showed up again yesterday. 4 big-time three-pointers he hit in the second half. I think it was all in the third quarter. The dude is just special. There's no doubt about it. But I piggyback to my comment from last week when I talked about the greatest player for those 4 to 6 minutes. And those last 2, it's somebody else. And that dude is Kyrie Irving. We have to stop the presses right now. My man Phil Handy, who's an assistant coach formerly of the Lakers, now in Cleveland, works with Kyrie Irving and the other players a lot, does a hell of a job. I think he's going to be an outstanding coach for years to come in the NBA. Give him his love. Give Kobe some love because Kyrie is close to Kobe, and Kobe gives him a lot of counsel and has been doing so. Met him last year during the playoffs, okay? This dude, Kyrie Irving, is special. Special. He's nasty. He'll dance on anybody. Got a nasty handle. Added the three-point shot to his repertoire. He's got a mid-range game. Post up not just smaller guards his size, but even bigger dudes, evidenced by his shot over Klay Thompson yesterday. Because I don't think he could play better defense than Klay Thompson put on them yesterday with that last shot. So we got to throw love out there to Kyrie Irving. He's just the same dude that averaged 27 in the NBA Finals, by the way, that dropped 45 in Game 5 with LeBron. This is the Kyrie Irving that I'm talking about. It is time to stop the damn presses and to show Kyrie the kind of love that he deserves. But I want to say this last part before I let you go. And I'll get more into this on my final take today.
Oh,
this
boy.
dude, Kevin Durant, I usually don't like telling people what I'm going to say. You know, my final take. I'm going to address Kevin Durant in my closing remarks today. 6'10", 7'6" wingspan, averages 30 in his sleep, highly efficient, one of the top 2 players as far as I'm concerned on the planet Earth. Nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter with over 9 minutes left. This dude had 33 points. The last 9+ minutes, 3 points, all on free throws. Not one shot against LeBron in Cleveland on Christmas Day after you dropped 33, but with 9 minutes left, not one field goal in the last 9 minutes. I didn't want to hear about this no more. This is ridiculous.
Two things. One,
my closing remarks. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
LeBron James going away in the last 2 minutes, I don't believe that's the case. What LeBron is primarily is not a scorer. He scores because he has to.
I'm only talking about as a scorer.
I understand.
Right. He
can, so he does. LeBron's temperament is naturally one of a point guard or a point forward. In fact, remember the All-Star game before LeBron came to Cleveland? You could see him trying it out with Kyrie. I'm going to hook this guy up. LeBron really plays point guard usually with Kyrie,
yes,
right?
I understand that.
So Kyrie is the kind of, his natural mentality is that of a scorer, and LeBron's is that of a guy who, hooks teammates up. That's one. So it appears in those moments that LeBron doesn't want it, but I don't actually think that's the case. 2. I want to take it back to his truth spotter circumstance, right? Was it a foul on Durant? It certainly was a foul on Durant, just like it was certainly traveling on Kyrie on the game-winning shot. Kyrie stopped, then moved both his feet, and then shot. You could watch. It's incontrovertible video evidence. Kyrie traveled. The basket should not have counted. Kevin Durant was fouled. It should have been called. However, knowing the circumstances of the history of the NBA, that ticky-tack stuff will not be called down the stretch. The technicalities won't be called. The refs are going to let him play, so to speak. Having that information, fortune favors the bold. Kyrie's like, well, whatever, I'm going to try it. Didn't get called. Fortune favors the bold. His shot counted. Durant trips and falls and looks for the call. Ain't going to work that way, KD. And they should know all that. And that goes into the sense that Kyrie and LeBron will get it done when it counts. KD and Steph, you're not sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that Golden State can't. It's a regular season game in December. It's indicative of what could happen. We'll see how they feel when they go to Golden State to play them on their home turf at the Oracle next month. But in the end, what I was saying about LeBron is this. I'm only talking about this is the only impediment. Back in the day, y'all, LeBron didn't want the ball late because he didn't want to go to the free throw line. He's overcome that years ago.
Yep.
Now, yes, he could be a point forward and all of those different things. I'm simply making the case that when the game is on the line and you want the ball in somebody's hands, he's not that top 5 guy that you want the ball in his hands in those clutch moments because he's make or miss, because he's a scorer, he's a lot of things, but he's not a shooter, he's not a marksman like other guys are, but he's still a top 5 player in the world. It is what it is. Again, I'll get into Kevin Durant with my close of my final take.
It was such a good game.
Okay, but it was a fantastic game. It was special. Has me looking forward to the finals. I wish the rest of the regular season was that damn exciting.
No question. The Warriors shouldn't be too down on that loss, though. The last 3 NBA champions all lost their Christmas Day game.